A big victory for free speech on university campuses in Canada. This one involves a pro-life club. They'd set up a display for years on the University of Calgary campus, one that came complete with a warning from the university saying, caution, you might not want to look here. Why? Because they were graphic images of what abortion truly is all about. But after years of displaying the signs outward, the university said if the club did not display them facing inward so that people would have to consciously go around and look at them, that they would be against the law. Well, the Court of Queen's Bench has ruled there is no indication that having the images turned inward will somehow alleviate any safety concerns. Mr. Hickey's conclusion that this demand struck a balance between the students' rights and the university's safety concern does not fall within the range of acceptable and rational solutions and is not reasonable. Alyssa Golub is with Campaign Life Coalition's Youth Wing. She joins us now from Toronto. And Alyssa, you are someone who has, you've had ketchup thrown at you, you've been assaulted for sidewalk chalk drawing. This must give you some hope as you look at what's happened to pro-life clubs across the country, though.
I mean, any victory, whether it's slight or large, gives me some hope. But I just wonder, when will Canadian universities finally understand that they cannot discriminate against groups, especially pro-life clubs, in universities just purely based on content? And this has happened over and over and over again throughout the years. And this is just another example of discrimination. So I'm glad that the Alberta courts did rule in favor of the Pro-Life Club, but they have a lot of work to do still because they only ruled that the Board of Governors at the university has to hear the appeal. They didn't actually say that they needed to not charge the students for non-academic misconduct.
Cameron Wilson, one of the students involved, though, very happy. Here's a little bit of what he said, if we can bring up his statement quickly. He said, "We feel vindicated by this court decision. We should not have been found guilty of non-academic misconduct just for expressing our views on campus." And that's what's been happening. And what's really odd about this is that for years, the University of Calgary had allowed the display to go on and just put up a sign saying, this is protected by the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Then they decided, based on political pressure, to say, no, we won't do that anymore. We will try and stop free speech.
Exactly. They did it for a couple years. They do it 4 times a year, so it's not even like it's every week or every month. It's only 4 times during the academic school year. They've done it for years, and then finally, after 3 or 4 years, they finally tried to get them on trespassing. It didn't work, so then they charged them with non-academic misconduct. And then when the students tried to appeal it, they were denied, so they took it to the courts. And thankfully, because this has gone on for so long, you know, there's tons of precedent to say that the students are allowed to actually protest on campus, are allowed to have these displays, and that the university cannot sue or discipline their own students that are paying tuition purely based on the content in which they're displaying.
Look, it's been a long time since I graduated from any campus, but there are campuses in downtown Ottawa. So I've been through the University of Ottawa, Carleton's on my way home. The content that's out there that's not related to pro-life issues, it can be pretty shocking. That is not dealt with in the same way. Is that just down to the ongoing double standard that people on the pro-life side have become accustomed to?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure if you recall the event that happened, I think it was last year at the University of Toronto with their epic sex orgy paid for by students at an aqua club in Toronto, where clothes were optional and students could go to this club in the evenings for free and basically engage in all sorts of sexual experiences. Exactly. So this is fine. And when they were challenged, when the student union was challenged on this, they said they can't discriminate clubs based on content, yet in the very same hand, they do this to pro-life clubs all across the country. So there definitely is a double standard by far.
Have there been enough victories? You alluded to some of them earlier, but I'm thinking there was the school in British Columbia, there was UVic, there was University of Calgary. I think McMaster had a victory as well in Hamilton. Have there been enough small victories across that student governments are going to back off on this and that universities might say, you know what, we shouldn't be doing this, let's allow full freedom of speech? I
certainly hope so. I hope they've learned their lesson. They've done everything from trying to shut down displays to arresting students on Carleton University in 2010. So the persecution has been all across the board, but they have continuously lost. And the pro-life clubs have continuously won because you can't discriminate based on content. So I hope finally, after this decision, they'll finally get the freedom that they deserve on campus.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much for coming in, and best of luck as the spring thaw comes and you get back out there with your sidewalk chalk. Stay safe and don't get assaulted.
Thanks, Brian.